Have you ever experienced culture shocks while traveling to foreign countries? Have you ever questioned how different countries define gender roles? Each country carries their own cultural identity, and throughout my EF tour across Eastern Europe, I explored how history and politics have shaped gender norms in this region. In recent decades, gender equality has gained international attention, marked by milestones like the Istanbul Convention of 2011, which recognized gender-based violence as a human rights violation. As I prepared for this trip, I realized that all of my destinations, Romania, Hungary, Slovakia, Czech Republic, and Germany, shared a common past: communism. That raised a central question for me. What are the social and political states of gender equality in Eastern European countries, and how have they evolved since the fall of the Soviet bloc? The first stop of our odyssey was Romania, where the legacy of communism was immediately visible. Communist-era apartment blocks stood alongside beautiful medieval and neoclassical architecture. At Revolution Square in Bucharest, we saw preserved bullet holes from the 1989 uprising that overthrew the regime. Our local guide explained that during communism, both men and women suffered from government oppression. Gender issues were rarely discussed when people were struggling just to survive. Still, under that regime, women had access to government-funded childcare and job opportunities, allowing them to participate in the workforce. Since 1989, however, economic inequality and patriarchal norms have resurfaced, making it more difficult for women to rise into leadership roles. Today, things are slowly changing. More women are entering politics in Eastern Europe. Zuzana Chaputova served as Slovakia's first female president, ending her term just last summer. Likewise, in a recent election in Romania, Elena Lasconi placed second in the first round of presidential voting, uncommon for a country where women only took up 19.2% of parliament as of 2024, according to UN Women. Meanwhile, broader European initiatives, like those from EU's Eastern Partnership, are conducting research and pushing for data-driven policies to combat gender stereotypes. On our road trip from Romania to Hungary, I interviewed our tour director, Octavian, a native of Timișoara. He acknowledged progress, but also noted the setbacks. After the fall of communism, the shift to capitalism created a wider wage gap and increased social inequality, especially for women. While the old system was repressive, it did offer women more institutional support in areas like education and employment. In fact, women's employment in Czechoslovakia reached 48% in 1975. Octavian also spoke about rising tensions surrounding LGBTQ+ rights. In Hungary, conservative politicians threatened to ban LGBTQ+ activities. As a result, tens of thousands gathered in the city of Budapest to voice their solidarity.
It's quite funny and quite unique how the people in Budapest and the Hungarians reacted to it. They didn't listen, they didn't care about the new law that was already in effect, and they just got out on the streets in huge numbers. It was a couple of hundreds of thousands of people out on the streets of Budapest a couple of days ago. They took over one of the larger bridges in Budapest, and they did send out a clear message to their prime minister.
He shared a story about a pride parade in Romania, where church members conducted a procession to cleanse the streets the next day.
We had the Pride in Bucharest a couple of months ago. We do have the Orthodox Church, which is against the LGBTQ movement. And we had the Pride parade in Bucharest, and it was on a huge scale. But as a response, the Orthodox Church in Romania, or let's say representative of the Orthodox Church, they came afterwards having a second march and praying on the streets where the Pride happened, just to cure it from the evil that just happened on these streets, which was terrifying. I mean, for me, seeing that, I mean, it angered me on another level.
His stories reflected a broader struggle between progressive social movements and traditional religious and political influences, especially in rural areas. In the Czech Republic, I met Katerina, a local guide who shared her perspective on gender issues. She pointed out the rise in gender-neutral bathrooms as one sign of growing inclusivity. However, she also highlighted ongoing challenges, especially the need for better public awareness, communication, and support for working mothers. She explained that, ironically, some social programs from the Soviet era, such as state-sponsored childcare, had helped women balance careers and motherhood. Today, much of that support system is gone or underdeveloped. As we reached Germany, our final stop in this 2-week trip, I was struck by the cultural richness of cities like Berlin. Between the pretzels, murals, and street protests, I saw a country grappling with its past while striving for equality. One demonstration we saw even blocked our route, showcasing the right to free expression in action. Over time, Germany has improved its gender rights policies. For instance, until recently, the legal definition of sexual assault required evidence of violence, threat, and/or victim resistance in order to prosecute. According to the BBC, as of 2016, only 10% of rape cases were reported, and of those, only 10% were convicted. After overwhelming protest and criticism, Germany amended its laws in 2016, redefining the legal boundaries between consent and crime. The Leadership Summit in Berlin brought all these experiences together. The event was filled with inspiring speakers like Taylor Cassidy and Carlin Green, as well as breakout sessions where we met peers from across the world. One Greek student described how normalized sexual harassment was in his culture, while a Swedish student praised their country's progress on LGBTQ+ inclusion. These cross-cultural exchanges helped me realize how much we can learn from each other and how important it is to keep asking hard questions about power, gender, and progress. This journey made a lasting impression on me. Through conversations with locals, peers, and experts, I saw firsthand how historical legacies continue to influence gender roles in modern societies. I also realized that gender roles and the pressure to fit into binary gender norms are, at its core, a societal construct, one that must be questioned, redefined, and reshaped to create more inclusive futures. At a national summit on sexual assault that I attended back home, I was deeply moved by the courage of survivors who shared their stories. Those voices, combined with what I experienced in Eastern Europe, deepened my belief that empowering women and addressing harmful norms is essential for any society's growth. Laws matter, but so do mindsets. We still have a long way to go, but if we continue to foster education, dialogue, and empathy, I believe more women will feel empowered to lead, challenge injustice, and thrive in a world that is evolving, one step at a time.